Hello, going live a little early, better early than late, right? Didn't really have any questions this week. And I just wanted to say, hi, because it's been a minute, right? I was sick for like all of January with the kids and it's just like trading flu B. And then we had Super Bowl weekend where I was surprised with a long weekend visiting friends in Palm Springs. I had never been before. My God, that's a cool city. It was just as cold as Denver, which I was not expecting. And big congratulations to Karen Schluter, who is in New Zealand right now. She had a terrific race. We're very proud of her. And even better, she's having a great trip. And we're all jealous of her because New Zealand, OMG, yes. Wow, beautiful time of year to be there. I hope the wedding was fantastic, Karen, and I hope you are really proud of yourself, or I hope you are at least as proud of yourself as I am of you. I know you're not because you're really hard on yourself, but you're in New Zealand. Like there's nothing to be sad about, nothing at all. Oh, MJ. Even if it's raining the whole time, it's New Zealand, and the dairy products are amazing. So good. Anyway, I'm in the mountains again. Yay, long weekend for the kids. And spring more or less has sprung, except here where we've had like 12 inches of snow since we arrived. It's amazing. But what was happening before I left to come to the mountains, two things. We're supposed to, the Puxatawny Phil saw his shadow. We're supposed to get, did not see his shadow. So spring is coming. And what spring means to me is wind, pollen, and mud. And that's something I want you to keep in mind, because the last time y'all would have been dealing with pollen would have been in the fall, and there's no mud with that. So especially if you're like, well, I think I'm going to try a trail race, great, do that. Trails are fun, but they're also muddy and treacherous. So you really need to be not wearing headphones and tuned into what you're doing, because one bad fall on a rock and you've twisted an ankle or you have fallen down a hill. And please, when you're on a trail, try to go with a buddy if you can, especially if it's not a trail that you're familiar with. I know there's something really amazing about getting out in the woods and being as far from humanity as possible. Trust me, that's why I come to mountains. But it is also really just don't underestimate how tricky it can be to get help, and make sure somebody knows where you're going, has the ability to track you, etc. Also, remember what you're going to be dealing on with the trail is kind of double what most of us are going to be dealing with in a city, and that's pollen. Pollen comes out full force after each snowstorm. So if you have a warm spell, all the trees are going to think that, oh, wow, winter's over. We've got to repopulate species and start kicking out huge amounts of pollen. So if you can see it on your car, that is also in your lungs, and that's going to make you sneeze a lot. It's going to make it harder. It's time to just go ahead and preemptively start your Zyrtec or your Allegra and do it. I find it easier to take before dinner, so that way it doesn't keep you up all night long, and you don't have to take it and get that heart rate surge first thing in the morning if you take it right before you run. So play around with the timing, but that's usually what I do around 5 or 6 o'clock right before dinner. And remember, like, if you don't feel good, there's a reason. It probably has less to do with you and more to do with the air that you're breathing. Also, springtime, this is when we get wildfires in many parts of the country. This is also when we get, I know it's fun, right? Ground layer ozone, which is a very specific type of pollution. It starts coming out. It won't really be full force until May, but like in Denver, it's already starting to creep up. So again, if your lungs are sending you a message, you really need to listen to it. Don't push yourself. It's better to run indoors. A treadmill is always better than taking any chances with your lungs. You only get one set. They're really hard to replace. Just saying. As far as other things go, wind is the last thing. So it's insulting enough to be trucking through mud and inhaling lots of pollen and possibly sneezing a lot. But then on top of that, to have wind blowing in your face. It has been really windy in Denver. March and April tend to be the windiest, but every day that it's not been snowing, it has been sunny and windy. And it's one thing on top of another. Trying to walk to my car is painful enough. I can't imagine people running in it. But if you're one of those people, God bless you. Go with him, but do listen to your body when you're out there. I know I say that all the time, but because I'm a coach and that's my job. You only get one body. It's hard replacement parts don't come cheap, and they don't always work real well. So work with what you've got and don't let it break down. Hop into office hours and come talk to me. It's been a while. I've gotten to talk with several of you over the past 2 weeks, and I love it. Let me know how ShipShape is going. Coach Nakia has told me wonderful things. I've heard wonderful things from a couple of participants, but I just like talking to you. it's the best part of this job. So come say hi. Let me know what you're training for in the spring. And I've also been looking for a new hobby. I threw that up on my Facebook page this week. I need something that's really brainless. Because I miss running, and until I can run again, I need to do something with my hands that doesn't involve my brain, or, the League of Women Voters or the legislative sessions. All of my hobbies were kind of big because I always had running. And now that I don't have running, it's like, okay, we have shifted a little too far in one direction. I need to bring in, cooking. Can't really garden, but gardening, something along those lines. If you have a hobby that is not cerebral and not too physical and allows you to relax, tell me what it is and drop a link to a starter kit. I am open to any and all suggestions. That's it for me for now. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope we get to talk to you soon. Don't ever forget that you are coached and loved and winning at life, even if you're walking through 3 inches of mud, inhaling pollen with wind in your face.